Good morning, you beautiful bipeds. Um, if you saw last week's video, it is the first weekend of May and spring is in full swing here at the Dell. So I just wanted to show you guys some of what I've been doing around the house. We have maybe 3 weeks until Deborah and the kids join me here. And so I'm doing this last minute organization and assembly and planting and stuff, so I'm pretty excited about things I have to show you. So let's take a quick tour. So one thing that I'm particularly proud of, we're still waiting on the skylight for Mackenzie's ADU. The roof is otherwise done, but we still have that tarp on it until we get the skylight, which apparently had to be custom measured and custom made. So I planted this yesterday, which I'm pretty proud of. That turned out pretty well. And then we have some mini hydrangeas. And this is actually a solar powered bug zapper that Deborah found on Amazon. It also functions as a lantern if Mackenzie wants to do that. And this is a lilac tree. More on lilac trees in just a moment. Right beside it we have the one of our holly trees, and I don't know how well it's showing up in the pictures, but in the holly tree we also have some wisteria, and that's really pretty, and there is a constant buzzing from it. I was afraid at first that we had some yellow jackets or something, but no, it seems that we have a honeybee hive. A couple of places on the property, but that's one of the places. So the wisteria is very, very pretty, and Deborah didn't really like the purple furniture at first, and I wasn't too keen on it either, but it, with the wisteria blooming and all that, it's kind of grown on me. This is honeysuckle vine. That's in full bloom too, and I thought it would be nice to sort of emphasize that with some clematis. So I planted some mini clematis. I think this is something like early bloom or something like that. So obviously blooms early in the spring, and then it keeps blooming and blooming and blooming, even though you can see it's losing some of its petals. But that's going to climb on up over here and join with the honeysuckle eventually. I also got a pretty little hanging pot. Those are annuals, but we can replant them every year. It's a pretty big pot, and I think that looks nice right there. And then we have some dahlias, and there's more of this early blooming clematis here that I thought was a nice touch. Hopefully it will grow up over this fence. Our purple planted plants are doing pretty well. They're pretty happy where they are. They look nice with our hanging plants. And the previous owners had some pots out here, and so I replaced that pot yesterday, and it got a little bit windblown in the back of my Jeep trailer on the way home from Lowe's yesterday, but I think it will come back very nicely. I put another trellis out here, and we've got two different varieties actually of clematis climbing clematis up the trellis, and so that's going to be really pretty when that's done. On the side of the house, also yesterday, this driftwood was already here, and so I stuffed this new plastic planter underneath it and planted some more. So what do we got here? We have one variety of clematis, that's the purple, and then we have wisteria, which is right here, and then we have jasmine. And so those are all three going to grow up and onto the hog fencing that forms our porch, and it should look very, very pretty after a couple of years. Our previous owners did a lot of things very, very well. One of the things that they did not do so well is they weren't apparently avid rose tenders, and so a lot of our roses have become fairly spindly, and there was a lot of frost damage and a lot of damage to the canes. Actually, here's a good example right here. If you are interested in growing roses, one thing to look out is for crossing stems over the years, and so I would cut this back. Also, this black part here is frost damage. This is still bendy, so it's still alive, but it's not doing so well, so I'm probably going to have to trim back this cane. But I've been doing a lot of trimming on the roses, not because I want to trim the roses. I like them nice and tall, but because in order for them to grow out and grow thick and woody, we have to trim back some of those crossing canes and keep them low for a couple of years so that they do branch out, literally branch out. In the back, our Japanese maple is in full bloom. It's very pretty deep red color. It's a very healthy, very happy Japanese maple. Our wisteria back here is also in full bloom. And I put another trellis out here. This is what I've been talking about for the past couple of weeks. Is I have trellis 1, trellis 2 over there. There's another one back there, and I will probably eventually take down that that 3-part wooden thing over there and put another trellis there. But the whole thing is to sort of enclose this space without enclosing it. So it's going to be a nice sort of a grassy space, an open space, a quiet space. And so what do you think that we have growing on trellis? Well, clematis. One exception, of course, is over here in the soil where it tends to get pretty wet and stay pretty wet, because clematis does not like that kind of soil. So in that situation, I have some honeysuckle. And as you could tell from the shot out front, you can probably hear some of those red-tailed hawks in the background. Honeysuckle really likes the soil here, and that's going to grow pretty quickly once it gets started, pretty thick, and probably grow up over this climber here. The lilac tree that I had in front, there's the red-tailed hawk, is inspirational. And so we have dwarf Korean lilac, so that's only going to get to about 6 feet and about 4 to 6 feet wide. We have another one over here, and in the middle is that big lilac tree just like we have in front. Over here there's another lilac tree, and so these are going to grow thick and pretty and tall and scented and have these make a nice pretty purple and pink border. We have another lilac tree right here. These things grow pretty fast. And then we have some datura, sorry, not datura, digitalis, some foxglove. And I thought that was really pretty. I was finally able to take a lot of the soil that we've set aside and soil that we've sort of dug up from other places, and Deborah, while she was here, helped me move a lot of it. She purchased a wagon that I've been looking for, and that was an immense help hauling all of that sod and that soil over here. And so it's you may remember a few weeks ago or a month ago this was all cardboard and wood, which is going to break down and create basically a sort of soil lasagna, a happy, healthy soil lasagna. And we have very healthy soil here. It's full of worms and good beneficial bugs and things like that, and they're very happy here. The stream, on the other hand, is not looking so good, and so I am eagerly anticipating in July being able to have that excavated. Behind me here is it's currently, I think they had a swing on here at one point. Right now it's a bench, and then this is where my mom's chimes are. But this is a space where we eventually want to put a gazebo, and this is going to be our Japanese garden area. It's going to be very pretty once it's done. But then heading out of the Japanese garden over the bridge, which will probably need to be replaced when we have the stream excavated in July, we pass the rhubarb, which is very, very happy and very overgrown. We pass our garden on the left, which we're not worried too much about this year. And we come to this area. Now this area is interesting because we have a south-facing wall. This is a very warm area. It is sheltered from wind. Not that we have too much wind here, but it's just an interesting area. And I've been trying to figure out what to do with it exactly. And so at Lowe's yesterday, I came across these guys. This is an olive tree. This is a the tag is hidden, but it is an olive that grows very happily and well in this area. It turns out nice black olives, meaty olives with small pits. They're one of the most common varieties grown in California, and they thrive here as well. So that got me thinking, well, this space is perfectly situated as sort of a Mediterranean type microclimate. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Eventually I'm going to replace this fence right here with sort of a lower, not really adobe, I'll probably use concrete, but sort of a retaining wall, paint that white. So a lot of this will be white. We're going to have some blue planters. It's going to be olive trees and bay laurel here in the middle. Alongside, we're going to have a little water feature that's left over from the previous owners. And this is going to be our little, get ready for it, olive garden. It's going to be very nice. So we have Japanese garden back there and an olive garden here. Finally, I am happy to report I spent a lot of fun time on our tractor last weekend, and I got a lot of these cut very neatly and nicely. I am still leaving a lot of high grass and wild grass for habitat for the wildlife, but at the same time I've also cleared up a lot of these paths so that we can get around in the Jeep and in other vehicles and haul things to the back if necessary, but also it just kind of looks nice and also gives me a place to run if I'm too tired to go out around the neighborhood or into Ferndale or into Bellingham for a run. And so behind me you can tell I've cut paths into this hill, but also facing the right way. Yes, up there behind me we have a bench and the remnants of an old swing. And eventually that's where Deborah and I want to put maybe another gazebo, maybe an entertaining area, sort of a small patio with a grilling area so that we could put the Blackstone out there and entertain guests or the family, because we're probably not going to have that many guests. And then finally out here, they are building a subdivision, and the building process itself is kind of loud sometimes, and also I don't really want to have to hide from the neighbors so much, and so I just ordered 10 Leland cypress, which is about 250 linear feet of tall hedge space. We're talking 50 feet tall. So I'm pretty happy with all the progress that I've been making, and that's spring here at the Dell. I'll keep you guys updated, and I miss you all, and thanks for tuning in.